The Toronto Raptors have made multiple moves, and it looks like more are coming, as news just came out that Sasha Vezenkov, who was widely speculated to go to Greece, ended up getting waived by the Toronto Raptors, including Javon Freeman-Liberty. So Masai Ujiri is making some chess moves out here right now, and a lot of eyes are now on Christian Koloko being brought back to the Toronto Raptors after being around the team a ton during this year's Summer League, and reports coming out about his medical condition that we're going to dive into in this video. So lots of stuff to sink our teeth into, folks. Again, if you're part of the 49% that hasn't hit the subscribe button just yet, make sure you hit that sub button so you don't miss a single thing entering this as we truck through this off season. Now, the Toronto Raptors with a new roster spot open. So let's dive into the reports, the stuff that's going on. So essentially, the Toronto Raptors have waived Sasha Vezenkov as well as Javon Freeman-Liberty, the team has said. Multiple reports had Vezenkov bound for Greece since he was acquired from Sacramento. So a buyout of some kind seemed inevitable. JFL only had a partial guarantee this season, and it was due to go up this week. So that's essentially why we'll break down first, because the Vezenkov is the story that I know a lot of Raptors fans, a lot of Raptors folk have been intrigued by over the course of this offseason in terms of what's been going on. Because we acquired him from the Sacramento Kings, the reports came out he's going to Greece. He was going to Greece. So those European reports that, Michael Grange, everyone was trashing on, ended up being right. That's where he's ended up going. So Sasha Vezenkov is out, and JFL is out as well, which might hurt the hearts of some Toronto Raptors fans, as the potential is definitely there for a guy like JFL, but again, we have so many shooting guards on this roster. It's a tough roster for him to really come in and develop on. The team we had with OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, before all those trades went down, I thought JFL had more of an opportunity to get some run and fulfill a need for this Raptors team, but unfortunately, the roster shifted and things just didn't work out. But this is a lot of implications in terms of what the Toronto Raptors are able to do now for this off season. So essentially, we know Sasha Vezenkov would have been a cool piece, a good three-point shooter. I'm not really worried about him and his stats and stuff. Again, it sucks to see him go, but I would like to see him play. I thought he would have been a cool fit, but this is major implication. So essentially, Freeman-Liberty was only guaranteed for $100,000, so it would have become $150,000 tomorrow and $800,000 if he made the opening day roster. He'll have league interest as a two-way player, and Vezenkov is leaving. The entire $6.6 million on the table in the buyout per a source. So the Raptors will pay $0. He has no cap hit any longer. So this is huge because, again, it would have made no sense for the Toronto Raptors to give him any single dollars, any single cents. If he was trying to go to Greece, it would have made no reason to give Sasha Vezenkov any leverage in a buyout and a contract extension. So it is a positive that Vezenkov, that wanted to leave, was willing to eat the pay cut, not take any of the guaranteed $6.6 million he would have received from the Toronto Raptors, which I think is crazy. I think that's insane. I get you want to go back to Europe and you're better for your career, all that type of stuff. That's insane to give up $7 million as a guy, that isn't making that level of cash out. Maybe, I don't know what his European contract will look like, but I don't know. That's a silly move, in my opinion, to give up those millions of dollars, but that's what he wants. I'm happy that the Raptors didn't have to eat into this, and this is big now for the team and what they're able to do in free agency. So essentially, the Raptors now have one open roster spot and plus one more for summer camp and invite Exhibit 10 type of contracts. How much space they would have under the tax is somewhere between $4 to $10 million range, depending on the Vezenkov buyout and incentive. So that ends up being on the $10 million range. This comes from Blake Murphy tweeted this before we knew the official buyout amount. So the Raptors now have about $10 million to play with in terms of offering up contracts and giving up these types of deals, which is a big, allows us to play around a little bit, given the players that are out there on the open market, excluding the unlikely incentives for Immanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl. The Raptors have about $11 million in breathing room beneath the luxury tax right now. They could use a good chunk of the mid-level exception, or could also just minimum a camp battle for the final spot for flexibility for the roster. So basically, they could just go into the season with this extra cap space, and then allows them to make more trades, allows them to make extra moves, which could be cool. Now, this is where all eyes are pointed on to what's next for the Toronto Raptors, because again, prior to this move happening, with Sasha being in this position, we had no extra roster spots open. So, we didn't have the opportunity to bring back a Trent Jr., who ended up signing with the Milwaukee Bucks. We didn't have the opportunity to even sign a Christian Koloko, because we didn't have a roster spot, right? Maybe we could have cut someone else or something like that. But Christian Koloko is now a very, very viable option. Now, we've heard a bunch of chatter about how he's trying to get his league basically approved to be back in the NBA. Personal doctors are saying he'll be able to return from his blood clotting issues. In his, I believe, I'm not sure where the blood clots are, but apparently, and this is going around Twitter right now, I'm not sure how credible this is. This is coming from Singh Bular. I don't know. He has some tweets out there that gained some traction. I don't know how serious this is. I'm just bringing it up. Take this with a grain of salt. But Christian Koloko has been recovering from a blood clot issue. Started the NBA Fitness to Play panel last week, and his agent Calvin Andrews told me that they've discovered the problem, and Koloko's been recovering for the past 3 months after the corrective surgery. So they've discovered the problem. Again, I'm not, no one would even if I pretended to be a doctor, no one would believe me. But, Christian Koloko, I'm no doctor in terms of what's going on, but apparently they found the cause issue of the blood clotting issues. He had surgery and he's been in recovery. So that implies that you had surgery to recover from whatever issues going on. They solved it. He could be back for basketball-ready action, and that would align with, him showing up at the Raptors Summer League, given his relationship to the Toronto Raptors team. They didn't want to cut him. They wanted to develop him and all that type of stuff. That would make some type of sense. So, Christian Koloko coming back as a, replacement for Sasha Vezenkov, I find that very interesting. Now, the Raptors right now are a different team. Christian Koloko would have been immensely valued at the start of last season, but we made a trade for Kelly Olynyk last year to be the backup center for the squad. And then on a two-way contract, we currently have Ulrich Chomche, who I just made a video on this morning, who, again, I don't think is going to get much minutes, much run over the course of this season, but definitely in the future could be one of the center prospects for this team. So how the fit works for Christian Koloko still remains to be seen. Again, Kelly Olynyk can play the power forward spot as well, so it's not a need for him to be at that center position, but it is very interesting. The Raptors do need some more big man depth to see how Christian Koloko could look, in actual minutes for this Toronto Raptors team moving forward into the season, and especially if the season doesn't start off as some Raptors fans are hoping for, then we end up trading guys like Jakob Poeltl or other guys on the roster. Christian Koloko could prove to be much more valuable for this Toronto Raptors team in terms of stuff that's happening. So I still like the fit of Christian Koloko, even if it's not as seamless as it would have been, this time last year in terms of the value he would have provided if he wasn't out with injury. And hopefully he's been working in the gym and stuff in terms of making a comeback, making a return. But again, there's lots of options out there, in the free agent market. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Raptors do surprise people and go in a different direction. But don't be surprised if you do see Christian Koloko back in a Toronto Raptors uniform, maybe even by the time this video is released in terms of what's happening right now. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Do you want to see Christian Koloko return to the Toronto Raptors? Let me know in the comment section. You guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.